Guys, so welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about what it's like to be a media coordinator in a media agency. So I have my questions down here and I'm just gonna get through it. So yeah, let's get to it. So what do we actually do as a media coordinator? So my job is basically work at a media agency, and I mainly work with clients on paid ads. So the ads that you see on social media platforms like Meta and TikTok and Snapchat, and also on Google like YouTube and like search ads. That's kind of what I work with. So basically we are a media agency, so we will take care of most of their media channels, and it really depends on what they pay us to do. And a lot of the responsibilities we have is to manage their media plans and budget, and also like how much is spent on the platforms. And we also control like how much money is spent a day and during the period of time that they want for the campaign. So at first, when I started in this industry, I didn't really understand it, and I feel like it took me a while, I would say, to understand what it is all about. But yeah, I am just about, I think, 11 months into this role, so I still have a lot to learn. What inspired me to choose marketing from OT? So I didn't really know if this was something I wanted to do. So if you haven't watched my previous videos, but I've actually wanted to get into UX design, and this is something that I got interested in because it's creative but also allows me to do something that's impactful. But then I decided to I think I dabbled in a little bit of it, and also UX research, so I did a bit of volunteering. But I realized that it wasn't something that was easy to get into, and there were some parts of the job that I wasn't keen on. So I decided to look into more like tech related roles, where I can get more into like technology. And something that doesn't require me to be in a lot of like, I guess, meetings all day, because I think for me I prefer a role where I have like 50-50 like client facing or meetings and my own time. But I felt like with UX design there's a lot of meetings, internal meetings, and there's a lot of like pressure to make sure your designs meet different stakeholders expectations, and it just sounds like something that I wasn't ready for. So and also to get a job, it is quite a competitive industry, so it is a lot harder. Okay, so yeah, I was always into social media because of like when I started my Instagram vlog as a diary to document my self-love journey, and then I decided to start this YouTube channel to also continue to document my self-love journey. I think it was during COVID, so I got into the side of social media, and I understood a lot about different platforms like Instagram and TikTok, and now YouTube. So that kind of got me into the world of social media and how I was able to like connect with a lot of people and also build a community. And I felt like it was a very powerful platform to use to reach to a lot of people, to people that actually want to consume the content that you have. So yeah, I got more interested in digital marketing because it was a mix of everything that I felt like I had, in terms of my interest and also the skills. But I was totally wrong when I started, because this job is so different. Digital marketing is very broad, and like there's all sorts of it. I can put it up here, but there's paid ads, there's organic ads, there's social media management. So there's like so many. There's also like influencer marketing. So there's just so many things that I don't completely know. The next question is, how did I transition? I did talk about it a little bit before, but how I transitioned was that I basically asked my friend who worked for this IT department in this company, so media agency, and asked her if they were hiring, and she told me to just look up on their website. And I did see like a few postings because this company is pretty big, so I knew there were like different jobs, but I just didn't understand what each role was, because each role had like a slightly different like responsibility, but like it was pretty much for the coordinator role. I would say your role is pretty much like admin and a little bit of like media work, but I would say you wouldn't have to do too much client facing work at this agency that I'm in. I only started to speak in meetings, I think about like a little bit less than 6 months before my probation, so that they can see if I was fit for the job. And I think my sister who got into this job, she still hasn't had the chance to speak to clients. So I think it really depends on your team and how it's structured, and also if you want to talk to clients, then like you can suggest it in your like one-on-one meetings with your manager. But yeah, one of the main challenges that I had is understanding how like media works, because it is really tricky without a marketing background or commerce or business degree to understand how like business works, and also marketing as well. Like there is the marketing funnel, and there's all these like marketing lingos that I didn't know, and when I'm talking to clients I have to switch my brain into like a marketing brain rather than an OT brain, and I think that was the biggest challenge. And I think I am pretty lucky because I'm not expected to know everything. I am pretty fresh, and I'm not the only one who has transitioned from a totally different like career. So I would say that the biggest challenge is to understand this industry, and I'm always going to be a learner, so I'm not going to be an expert right away. Like I don't think I'll ever be an expert about like everything, and I think it's more about honing into like what I'm good at and also what is required of my job, and get specialized. Yeah, so that's basically what I think is kind of my goal, is to get really good at one thing and really leverage it somehow. Another challenge I would say is this is something that I didn't think would be a challenge, but the fact that I do work from home most of the days and I just go in office once a week. So of course I really love it. There are a lot of perks when it comes to working from home, but there's also that part that you do lack more interpersonal connection with your coworkers. You don't get to learn as quickly because a lot of the things are kind of slowed down because you have to wait for people to reply or for you to like get things done. Whereas I feel like I can learn a lot quicker when someone is explaining something to me, like in person. And I think there are ways to counteract that, like setting up Zoom calls, which I prefer rather than just like typing. But yeah, I think it's really about communicating with your manager how you want to learn. I think another thing I can think of is my professional development, and this really depends on where you're working at, but I would definitely say that it's a lot more about you advocating for yourself. So if you want to grow, then you would reach out to people and you would try like to set out like a professional plan for yourself. It's not something that's really linear and makes sense because this industry is so broad. Whereas in OT, I felt like it was pretty like predictable what the next step will be. So you can be like a senior and you supervise students. But with this industry, it's really, the oyster is really your world. Your world is your oyster, where you can choose different pathways, whether you want to do like client partnerships or more like data analytics, or you want to do like pitching, things like that. So really depends on where you want to go, but that's definitely something that I've taken more control of this year, and I definitely think it's still a work in progress. I'm always trying to see where my career will go, and yeah. So some of the skills that you'll need in this job, so I can put a list up here, but basically as like an entry-level role, I would say communication skills. That sounds very like self-explanatory and a lot of people talk about it, but to be honest, like this is something that you need in every job, and being able to articulate your thoughts and like being able to explain something to someone in simple terms, especially the client, is really helpful. And being able to communicate not just like through speaking, but email, like Teams and video calls. It's just a lot of communicating with internal people or clients. So another skill I would say is organization skills and being able to like time manage, which is also self-explanatory. I think what would be helpful is also basic math skills, because a lot of it is reporting on numbers, how the campaign's going, using different metrics to see how the campaign is performing. And you do use Excel a lot, so if you don't know how to use that, I would definitely recommend like going on YouTube and looking up like Excel skills, like foundational skills. And I think everything else you do learn on the job. I learned most of the stuff on my job rather than being taught it. And even though I did do courses, which did help a lot with like foundational knowledge, a lot of the technical skills were learnt on the job. So I don't think it's impossible for someone who's totally new to the industry to like learn everything. So yeah. Okay, so what courses do I recommend, or any resources that I have? I don't really recommend any like specific courses, because I do think that it really depends on your experience rather than just doing a course and having a certificate. But I do think they look highly on Google certificates, so you can look up if Google add certificates, Google search certificate, Google video, Google display, things like that can help a lot. But I would definitely recommend looking for any volunteering opportunities or anything you can do in your current job that allows you to build those skills that I was talking about. So yeah, I think another skill that I forgot was presentation skills. So if you can do that, that's really good, especially when you're working in an agency, because you are presenting results and pitching to clients. So I don't pitch for my role, but that's something that some people do. So it's a really like helpful skill to be able to do public speaking, and also storytelling. Like I feel like storytelling is always a big thing, especially in this industry. Getting people to understand your message and saying it in a very like concise and like meaningful way. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. If you have any like specific questions, please let me know, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.